Hello and welcome to the channel. Welcome here in Umoja. Amazing how time flies. One moment you're just chilling, the next you're in the thick of it. We will survive. There is nothing new under the sun. So in today's video is going to be very chill. I'm just going to be taking you guys along with me on a normal day. There's something interesting going on. Today I just wrapped up my last driving lesson. I already went to eCitizen and booked a driving test for tomorrow. So tomorrow I'm taking my driving test at the Inspection Centre, I think on Likoni Road. I'm very excited. I'm confident that I'll pass the test and get my driving license, which would be a momentous occasion. It's around 1 p.m. right now. I want to grab lunch. But before I grab lunch, I want to go and get a haircut. So a haircut first, and then lunch, and then we'll go to the gym. And then that will wrap up today. Tomorrow, I'll go do the driving test. I can't bring my camera with me. And then I'll talk to you guys when I'm back from the driving test tomorrow in the house. And then I'll also tell you a story at the end of this video, because I feel it's been very long since I told you guys a story. My kinyozi, the one I normally go to, is closed. Let me find another kinyozi and then I'll talk to you. Arrived at the kinyozi. Very nice looking kinyozi. Look at that. This is a nice one. I'm told it's 300 shillings to shave this head of mine, which is fine. Once in a while, it's not bad to treat yourself. I've been running most of my life, blowing smoke everywhere around. I've been searching, but I can't seem to find someone that can hold me through the night. I'll count to 10, then open up my eyes. If you're gone, I'll take it as a sign. But if you stay, bro, naitwa Benja. Guys, mnaona hiyo maneno? So hiyo ni kazi ya Benja. Good job, man. That's a good job. Asanteni mazee. Viti kabisa. The next thing is lunch. So yesterday I made some beans, very nice beans. I want to grab some chapatai, and that will be lunch. Ever since I ate that road run in South B, was it South C or South B? I'm trying to eat a bit healthier, so I'll also try and grab some avocado. I think then I will not be letting Patrick down. I'm here with my chapatai as well as the beans from yesterday. I want to warm them in the Freedom Girl microwave that came from Brigadier M. Huh? Welcome to lunch. The food may be lacking in presentation, but what it lacks in presentation, it more than makes up for in taste. Right guys, so let me turn this cap around. I don't think you guys are able to see my face. What about this way? Yeah, I think that's much better. So guys, I'm off to the gym. The lighting in my gym is not very good. I'll try to get a few snippets so that you guys are able to see how the gym workout usually goes. See you guys there.
It's 2 a.m. and I can't fall 'cause I'm not tired. I'm thinking about the days we used to shine when we were young. I told you that we should start a band and reach for the sky. It's 2 a.m. and I can't fall asleep. I'm just not tired. I can hear the raindrops falling. It's cold outside and I kinda feel like calling, but it's too late now. I just miss you. I just miss you. We were such a constellation, right? No, you'd agree.
Good evening, guys. So I'm back from the gym. I'm on the rooftop. I did some workout at the gym, and yeah. So what I want to do is just go to the house, shower, and then prepare for tomorrow's tests at NTSA. I'm supposed to arrive there very early. I wake up very early, make sure that I arrive in that place in good time and do the test, and then we'll see how that goes. The only thing on my mind right now is rules of a model town board. A model town board has 3 rules, and those rules are: use the shortest, most correct route without using parking. Use the longest, most correct route without using parking. Use parking as the last option. So yeah, guys, I'll see you tomorrow.
I can hear the raindrops falling. It's cold outside and I kinda feel like calling, but it's too late now. I just miss you. I just miss you.
Good morning, guys. So it's about 3 days from when I took my driving test. I've been working on a few things. As you can see, I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm in a new place. Something happened at my old place that forced me to come to a new place, and I'll tell you about that maybe later on in a subsequent video. I don't want to take the focus away from my driving test, which I failed. So I failed my driving test at NTSA terribly. Oh my goodness. Before I tell you what happened, let me show you guys. So this is my eCitizen portal, the NTSA section. We regret to inform you that you failed. Go back to your driving school for refresher course and rebook test after 7 days. So I failed. So what happened? Well, I took my driving test about 2 days ago at NTSA Inspection Centre on Likoni Road. I arrived there around 6:30 in the morning. There were very many people obviously coming to do that driving test, and there are 2 elements to a driving test. The first element is the theory section, and then after the theory section there is the driving practicals. So we were put into different groups. You're summoned, you do the theory section. If you fail the theory section, you go back to school. If you pass the theory section, you do the practicals. And if you pass the practicals, then of course you get your interim license. It will show on the portal that you've passed all the tests and you get your interim license, and thereafter your driving license. So I did the theory element and I passed and proceeded to do the practicals. But then I failed my practicals, and it is entirely my fault. It is not the fault of my instructors at the driving school I attended. They did their part, they did a good job. It is not the fault of NTSA officials. It is entirely my fault. This is what happened. I think due to reputation and routine, I was used to a certain procedure of driving, which is what made me fail, and that is entirely my fault. Whenever I get into a manual car, which is of course the car I'm training to drive, first thing I do is I adjust my seat, and then I put on my seat belt, right? And after I put on my seat belt, I step on the clutch fully, and a bit on the brake, and then I turn on the car. And then after turning on the car, I check to see if the car is on neutral, right? If it is on neutral and the instruction is to go forward, then of course I put it into gear 1. After putting it into gear 1, then of course I disengage the handbrake, and then I load the clutch slowly to find the sort of, I don't know, they call it the pinch point, the load point of the car, until I feel it's it's primed to go, and then I remove my foot from the brake and go forward. That is the ideal situation. That is what I should do. What did I do instead? I got into the NTSA car, adjusted my seat, put on my seat belt, turned on the vehicle, and then what I did next is what caused me to fail. It could be the student or it could be the instructor. Maybe the student engaged the clutch, and when they left, the instructor put it back down just to challenge the next student, who was me in that case, right? So, because of the routine that I'm used to, instead of realizing that the handbrake was already disengaged, I pulled it back up. Because I'm used to touching the handbrake, I'm used to engaging with it before I drive. Maybe because of nerves, instead of realizing it was already disengaged, there was no need for me to touch it, I pulled it back up. And then, no matter how much I loaded the car using the clutch, it could not go, because of course the handbrake was engaged. And you have about 20 seconds in the car to do what the instructor is telling you, and then of course, your time up, you failed. So the instructor said, let's go forward very quickly. I did everything, pulled up the handbrake. The car could not go forward. The instructor said, I'm giving you one more chance, don't waste my time. I wasn't calm to look around and see that the handbrake was the issue. So when he said, I'm giving you one more chance, I turned the car on again because it had gone off. I turned the car on again and then tried to load the clutch once more. The car could not go forward. And so the instructor said, go back to school, tell your driving instructor to teach you the use of a handbrake. And that is how I failed. Simple mistake, right? Simple mistake. Several other people failed for very simple things as well. Somebody forgot to put on the seat belt, they failed. Other people, when they were loading the car, released the clutch fully, the car went off, they failed. This is something that happened to me that I don't wish for it to happen to anyone else. Check the position of the handbrake. If it is already down, do not touch it. It is already disengaged. What next for me? Like the portal said, I'm supposed to wait for 7 days to do a rebooking. It will cost me about 3,000 Kenyan shillings. 2,000 Kenyan shillings for the school and 1,000 Kenyan shillings for NTSA. I'll do that and I'll be able to go back and do my test in about 2 weeks' time. I think the only thing I need is a bit of car time. I need more car time. I still have my PDL, my provisional driving license, that is still valid for another 2 months. And what that means is I can drive a light manual car just as long as I have an expert who is licensed to drive that car sat beside me and, be acting as my chaperone in that regard. So I'll find out how I'm able to get more car time. And then of course I'll also, brush up on the road signs and the model town board, which of course I passed, but because I'm going to take more time to go back to school, I may forget a few things. I'll keep brushing up on those things, and then I'll go and do the driving test at NTSA again. Other than that, before I tell you the story, I wanted to tell you guys, let us do the freedom comment of the week. This week's freedom comment is by P.O.K. Rich. Hello Dennis Ouru, you're now officially my best Kenyan YouTuber. Ever since I came across your channel, I've never missed a single episode. Your content is real, inspiring, and always on point. I'm always on my toes here in Kericho, Kenya, waiting for your next drop. Keep shining, bro. freedom, passion and purpose all the way. And hey, that Volkswagen NTSA is coming your way soon, no doubt. Pio Kerich. That's a very beautiful comment, Pio. Thank you for it. Let me tell you a story, and this story is inspired by my failed road tests at NTSA. I want to tell you the story of how I failed in another area in my life as a kid. And you know, the lessons that we can derive from that. I already shared some time back on this channel that I grew up in a children's home, right? And that I was a serial bedwetter. A lot of young boys watch this channel and enjoy the content. So if you're watching and you're a young boy and you're bedwetting, don't worry, you can come out of that. It will not last very long. So don't worry, because I know what it does to a small boy, especially if you're living with several other people and you're the only one who is bedwetting. So I just want to tell you that I was a serial bedwetter. If there was a championship belt to be handed out for people that wet the bed, I think I would take the top accolade for it. But it's not really the bedwetting aspect that I want to be the focus of this story. It is what comes after. I was in a children's home made up of 20 children, 10 boys and 10 girls. And the boys had their own room, the girls had their own room. And as I said, of course, I used to wet the bed every other night, or most nights. But then, when we woke up in the morning to go to school, that is when I came face to face with this failure on my part. I was faced with two choices. The first was to take out my beddings to dry, okay? But then you see, the thing is, when you are growing up among so many children like that, you have, for lack of a better word, 19 siblings. It takes a toll on your confidence, on your self-esteem. What I was supposed to do was take my beddings to dry. There was no way I could do that in secret. I could take the sheets and fold them into a very small bundle and sneak around, look at the corridors to see if anyone had woken up, and try to maneuver my way and take them to the field very quickly without anyone noticing what I was carrying. But there was no way to take a mattress out in secret. A mattress is a big thing. No matter how many times you try to fold it, everyone will see that Dennis Uhuru is carrying a mattress, and that therefore means he's wet the bed. And he's taking his mattress to the field to dry, right? And all the boys would see it because of course I was sharing a room with them, and the girls would see it as well, because once I took the mattress out, if I didn't meet any of them in the corridors, then of course once I was out of the house, the rooms we were staying in had very large windows. I had to pass outside the girls' room to go to the field, and all the girls could see that is Dennis Uhuru with his mattress taking it out to the field. But more than that, the information that Dennis Uhuru had wet the bed would also get back to the disciplinarian. And when that happened, as sure as the rain is wet, someone would come for some punishment, Someone would come for some punishment. And what that meant was for me to go and contend with some misadventure on my sitting allowance. So this was a multi-tiered esteem and fear-inducing event, because the first thing I had to deal with was my own embarrassment. I was the first person to find out when I woke up whether I'd wet the bed or not. So there was that. And then the boys would know that I'd wet the bed when I was taking everything out to dry. And then the girls would know I'd wet the bed. And then the disciplinarian also would know I'd wet the bed. And then I'd be called to, partake of some misadventure. And I was afraid. I was afraid of all these things. And that therefore brings me to my second choice. And once I tell you the second choice, you will see how tempting it was for me and why sometimes, many times, I chose to take this path. So what was the second choice? The second choice was when I'd wet the bed and there was a wet patch, you know, on my bed sheet, right? I'd take my blanket and cover up that wet patch, okay? And act like nothing happened, and then go shower and go to school. But then, this second choice also had its downsides. First is, my whole day in school would be ruined. I'd be sat in class, anxious and worried about the cover-up education in the room and what would happen if I was found out, right? And often they did. And I'd only discover that I'd been found out when I came back from school in the evening. And what that meant is punishment times 2. Now, I'd face punishment for what I'd done and for the cover-up that I'd occasioned. And that was not easy on my sitting allowance. And all the other things I was afraid of, I would also face them as an addition. Because again, everyone would know that I'd wet the bed. So, the second choice worked sometimes. But when it didn't work, it was terrible. Even when I was not found out, my whole day had been ruined in school, and the following night would also be ruined because I now had to spend the night on a wet, stinking bed, you know? I had to sleep in that same mess I'd made the previous night because I'd not taken the beds to dry and I'd covered up the wet patch with my blanket. By evening, that place, that bed would be a mess. It would be stuffy, it would be stinking, and I had to sleep in it. It was even better that I be found out, so that the following night was not ruined as well. And over time, I came to realize that the 2 choices I had after wetting the bed, none of them were easy, but the best option I had was the first choice. If I wet the bed, take out my beddings to dry, go and face whatever punishment would come out of that, and then I would be done with that. So what would happen is I'd take out my beddings to dry, they'd call me to face some misadventure on my sitting allowance. That session would last maybe 2 or 3 minutes. My buttocks would smart for another 15 to 20 minutes, and then I could enjoy the rest of the day in school with my friends, making noise, running around, playing football, shouting, dancing, oh, making merry, because there was nothing waiting for me back at home. So I realized the first choice was the best choice I had. And therefore, that is what I started to do. And after some time, the frequency with which I wet the bed started decreasing. And after many years, I finally stopped wetting the bed. So what is the moral of the story? I can think of 2. The first is, if you wet the bed, take out your beddings to dry. The second lesson is, if you wet the bed, it is not a permanent condition. There will come a time when you will stop wetting the bed. Everyone will forget that Dennis Ouru used to wet the bed, and it will not be a weakness anymore. It will just be something you surmounted. And that is how it will be seen as, right? That is the story, guys. That is the story. So that's been that for today's video. Yeah, concerning my failed driving test, I'll try to get more car time and then I'll go and do the test again. If you like the video, don't forget to like it. Leave your thoughts in the comment section. If this is your first time to the channel, subscribe to the channel, and then I'll see you in the next video.